I often wonder, when did we the people become so willing to allow men and women to sell our freedoms? When did we become so scared that we just allowed the most heinous of crimes to happen while we sat on the sidelines and did nothing? At what point was the American and the patriot no longer synonymous? I think about our government officials and how they want the American people to continually be victims so that we fight and stay divided. I research history to try and understand when this internal destruction began. I ask myself, what would Thomas Jefferson think? What would he do? Would he embrace our current leaders as his brethren, or would he take them out himself? I don't believe division was ever the goal for America, but the Cold War that's been waged on the American family is anything but American. All men are created equal. Red, white, and blue is incredibly inclusive. No other nation, flag, or colors have ever been as inclusive, nor have they fought for these ideals. I wonder what the turning point was for me. Did something happen that changed me? Was I always red, white, and blue? I don't know, have I always been this way? I'll never forget when I was in the 8th grade and my favorite teacher, he taught civics class. Well, it was more than just civics, but he was much different than the other teachers that I had. One day, he was teaching us about the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment really, why it's so important to be a critical, strategic, and free thinker. He told us about this story, 2 students in Lisbon, Portugal in the 1960s. They were out at dinner, having drinks, loving life, and at one point they toasted freedom. Not long after, they were arrested and jailed for 7 years. 7 years for toasting to freedom. There are people out there willing to defend freedom at all costs. We have those freedoms, and we're battling to keep them. But there are people that are just willing to hand it over for protection and safety. Anyway, back to 8th grade.
Hi, Gilbert.
Hi, Gilbert.
Hey, Gilbert.
Hey, Gilbert. Hey, Gilbert.
Hi, Gilbert.
Good day, Gilbert.
Hey, bud. Good morning.
Hi, Gilbert.
Good morning, Gilbert.
Good morning, Gilbert. Hey, Gilbert. Good morning, Gilbert. Good morning, Gilbert. How was your weekend, Gilbert? My weekend was great. Went swimming in a lake. Bye, Gilbert.
Class, today we're going to talk about the delicate balance between individual freedoms, the pursuit of safety, and the persistent threat of tyranny. As we move forward into the future, we must have an understanding of the past, and we must be engaged in our present. More importantly, we have to be prepared to do what's right, no matter the cost. Our individual liberties are the bedrock of our democratic societies. They're the very essence of what make us autonomous and empowered individuals. These liberties grant us the right to free expression, assembly, and the pursuit of happiness. They're the fuel for the engine that drives progress, creativity, and social harmony. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, we must be acutely aware of the alluring call to sacrifice some of these freedoms for safety. Benjamin Franklin's timeless warning echoes through the ages, reminding us that those who would trade essential liberties for temporary safety deserve neither. The erosion of individual freedoms often occurs insidiously over time. Tyrannical governments rarely emerge overnight. Rather, they chip away at our liberties and our individual freedoms slowly. They cast a shadow of increasing surveillance, more restrictive laws, and reduced privacy. These things may, in the beginning, seem benign, but they're all a threat to the fabric of our free societies. As responsible citizens, it is our duty to recognize tyranny and resist the erosion of our individual freedoms. To navigate these challenges, we must be informed, engaged, and courageous in our advocacy for individual freedoms. We must question authority, demand transparency, and hold our leaders accountable. We must be willing to do what's right, even in the face of great consequence. In doing so, we strengthen the resilience of our societies against those who wish to diminish our liberties.
Mr. Henry, can you come to the office? Your presence is needed for a few moments.
Mr. Butler, I'll be right there. Class, while I'm gone, read text from pages 315 to 325. Oh, and before I forget, while I'm gone, none of you are permitted to leave your seats. Anyone who leaves their seats will be expelled. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is Gilbert going to die?
No.
Ramona, I'm surprised to see it was you that disobeyed my direction. Please, take your seat. Class, this was a lesson and a test. I wouldn't have let anything happen to Gilbert. And none of you should let anything happen to Gilbert. And sometimes we have to make a hard decision. We talk about it all the time in this class, making the hard right decision versus the easy wrong decision. Sometimes you're going to have to go against authority. Authority that you trust. Authority that you thought cared for you. Authority that you might have stood for. It's the hard right. Sometimes you're going to be going through life, you're going to run into an issue, and you're going to have to take a look at that moral compass of yours. Really look into your ethics. Ask yourself, what would Thomas Jefferson do? What would Martin Luther King Jr. do? Is it the difficult right? Then do that.
I think of this often.